And what we said is we want to depressurize, de-escalate, and ultimately integrate the Middle East region. The Middle East region is quieter today than it has been in 2 decades.
What you saw overnight was Operation Prosperity Guard in action. That multinational coalition was formed back in December to respond to Houthi attacks in the Red Sea.
And we're going to talk about now is the Red Sea. And you can see here the water in blue with the number of stars on there where attacks from the Houthis on Western shipping has taken place. This canal, if you will, is about 1,400 nautical miles long. It's about 221 miles wide at one of its widest points, but on either side is a choke point, the Bab el-Mandeb Straits. So everything comes down to a narrow passage. And then at the other end, the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is extremely important to global commerce. As Mr. Blinken said, 15% of our commerce goes through here. By comparison, if you look back a year, there was a ship named the Ever Given that grounded in the Suez Canal for about 6 days. $10 billion worth of commerce goes through on bulk carriers, fuel carriers, or container ships every day. So for those 6 days, that was a cost to the consumer of about $416 million per hour. Jeez. Additionally, if you can't go through the Red Sea, you have to go around the Cape of Good Hope to get to Northern Europe or into the Mediterranean. That's an additional 3,500 nautical mile transit. Takes you about 10 days to do it. Burns more gas, but also increases the carbon footprint, which is not good for climate change. So this is all negative value added by the Houthis, and it's going to affect us in our pocketbooks just when we thought we had inflation under control.
And since mid-November, there have been at least 27 attacks by those Iran-backed Houthis with missiles and drones launched from Yemen at international ships in the Red Sea, which, by the way, makes up about 15% of global trade coming through that waterway. And since then, many ships have had to be rerouted the long and more expensive way around the African continent. But what you saw overnight, those strikes were led by the United States and the United Kingdom. Warships, planes, and submarines responded. U.S. Central Command says they struck 60 targets in Yemen at 16 different locations, and they used over 100 precision-guided bombs and missiles. Local reports confirmed explosions throughout Yemen, including at a military base next to the airport in the capital city of Sana'a. The Iran-backed Houthis claim 5 of their fighters were killed by allied forces, and they are doubling down on their threats to attack ships heading to Israel. Now, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, he is in his 12th consecutive day in the hospital being treated for complications from prostate cancer surgery. And he says, quote, the strikes targeted sites associated with the Houthis' unmanned aerial vehicle, ballistic and cruise missile, and coastal radar and air surveillance capabilities. The United States maintains its right to self-defense, and if necessary, we will take follow-on actions to protect U.S. forces. Pentagon Press Secretary Pat Ryder took to CBS this morning to talk about these strikes. Here's part of what he had to say.
We targeted specific facilities and capabilities intended to degrade and disrupt the Houthis' ability to conduct the kinds of attacks that we've been seeing. And so we're still conducting the battle damage assessment. Initial indications are that we had good effects.
And Ryder also said that Secretary Austin helped coordinate these strikes from Walter Reed Medical Center. And one of the first moves the Biden administration made was to delist the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization. They're facing increased pressure to redesignate the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization, but it remains unclear if they will do that even with these strikes overnight.
And what we said is we want to depressurize, de-escalate, and ultimately integrate the Middle East region.